I'm dying to talk to you because I haven't really even talked to you much this week. And I don't remember when I talked to you last. I was really looking forward to the podcast this week. Do you know that you can call your mother when it's not the podcast?
Yeah. You can also call me.
I really waver between, oh, he's probably busy. It's the weekend. He's probably doing fun stuff. I don't want to bug him.
I was working.
You just never really know when you're supposed to bug your son.
You can always just text me. You didn't even text me at all this. So I think the last thing I responded to something that you had said.
That's the thing that parents, it's kind of like, I
Don't
feel
put
like
this on being a
parents,
parent.
no, I
No,
feel
no,
like
no, no.
parents, no, let me, I think that sometimes parents treat their children on tiptoes because we don't want to annoy you. Because I know that I used to get really annoyed with my dad, who would call me 5 times a day. And I'm trying to not be that parent for you, but then maybe I err on the side of then not calling enough. So, hi, I miss you. I really miss you. That's all to say, I'm really homesick for you and I'm excited to see your face and talk to you today. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I wanted you to start the pod today because I think you had the best experience out of any of us this week. What did you
Yeah.
do that was cool or interesting this week?
Okay, so I was in the parade for the Liberty.
What?
Because they
Why?
want the Liberty women's basketball team, the only basketball team I recognize for New York. They won the championship, best team in the league, which I mean we all knew, or at least I knew. And so then I'm really good friends with Stewie, and Stewie's wife. So luckily they were very gracious. They didn't have to, but they let me be on their float. And so I at 7 in the morning was having a mimosa with Stewie and Marta and their friend Kalina and Tracy. We rode the float to City Hall and it was a blast.
I was sitting here kind of cleaning, doing stuff, putzing around the house. And all of a sudden, Rebecca Lobo texted me a screenshot and is like, is McKylin on the float with Breanna Stewart? And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that was happening right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you were on TV. How cool was that, honey? That parade. So there's a history to this parade. The Canyon of Champions, they call it in New York City, is famous. Like the New York Yankees. I think that's where like the V-Day celebrations were. Like the who's who of champions ever in New York City gets a parade, ticker tape parade down that. And you got to participate? Like my mind is blown.
It was crazy. It was so much fun. Shout out to Stewie and Marta for letting me do that. It was a blast. And it was crazy. Like it was just such a good time. Everybody. It's so fun to see everybody like out celebrating and just having a good time. Especially, I feel like it's the opposite of where we're going in like a week. So it was just like a nice little. It was a fun little. I don't know. It was like a dream state. Like it was early in the morning. I'd worked trivia the night before. I'd worked after too. So it was like this weird, it was just a weird, like I was not living my life for 4 hours. I was doing this thing. And it was insanely cool. I had a couple of friends text and call me, telling me I was on TV. And then it was also like, I mean, nobody cares that we're there. So we're just me and, Kalina, one of Stewie's best friends. We were just hanging out with a bottle of Don Julio, just chatting with people and it's like, pretending like we were going to sign stuff and just just dancing and singing. We're just having a great time.
Wow. What's a lifetime, really cool memory. Okay. So do you have the inside scoop on, I saw Stewie tweet out, can someone bring me red wine? And did someone actually on the parade route bring her red wine?
I'm not sure about that. I don't know. We need champagne. Oh no. Yes. So, I have them somewhere. So while we were unloading to get onto the float, we had a ton of stuff with us, and it was like 2 strollers, a bottle of red wine and this big bag full of like Trulies and Don Julio and Grey Goose, like just all of these like huge bottles that the venue gave us, that Barclays gave us. And so I was carrying all of them. And then there's also a bottle of red wine. And I had that under my arm. And when I handed it to everybody, the bottle didn't make it.
Did it break everywhere?
It did. It shattered all over my shoe. I was wearing white shoes. They are
Oh
now
boy.
light pink.
Oh boy.
What are you gonna do? Yeah.
So if we're really getting to the bottom of this story and this tweet, she needed the red wine because you broke her red wine?
Yes. And then we did also run out of champagne. So we were going around with the note, like you can write out on like a phone, like we need champagne. So we were doing that. But no, I think that one of my other favorite things is like I'm just in the background of all these really cool edits that people have made of like Stewie on the float being awesome. She has aura, as the kids are saying. And then behind her is just me and everybody else. Like,
what was that? What are the kids saying?
Aura? It's some new thing.
What does that mean? Is that like Brat Summer?
Sure. Yeah. It's you know what the word aura means, like when you're
aura, right? Like your presence around you. You have an aura around you.
Yeah, I think it basically just means presence. It's kind of like how Riz took over for charisma,
right?
Or just this kind of presence,
right? I like it.
So yeah. So you just texted me for the podcast listeners. So she said, "Stop touching my face." So I'll do this a lot.
Constantly.
My face itches. What do you want from me?
Every second that you're talking, you're doing something to your face.
It itches.
Okay, I just thought it would be better for the viewers if you weren't constantly itching your face. And plus, I'm texting you privately, so you don't tell people on the podcast I'm texting you.
No, I'm telling everybody. No, that's what the point of the podcast is. I feel like every son and daughter and anything in between, they all have experienced their mom just critiquing them on little stuff.
Right.
Like I definitely know of parents that like during a dinner, they'll just be poking their belly or something. And you're just like, hey, stop eating so much. Like just random stuff like that. It's just
I have never done that to you. Never told you not to eat. Ever.
You've done it to me with drinking. I'll be
yeah, for sure. Because sometimes you're too drunk.
Well, sometimes also I'm not too drunk, but you're just like, whoa. And then it makes me look like an alcoholic, which is great. We'll be with friends and I'll have like my second glass of wine and you'll be like, whoa, you're being a little loud. And
I do worry about the drinking. I don't know what is the appropriate amount for young people to drink these days. I really don't know what
I guess you're, I don't know.
Fun fact, I did not start drinking until I was in my 40s, really. Yep. And I really only started drinking because I read that red wine helps prevent dementia.
Which is not.
I just read that maybe that's not true. And I'm devastated because I definitely like the red wine now.
Not true at all.
There was a study in mice. I read this scientific information. There was a study in mice.
Who paid for the study? It was probably done by Big Wine.
Big Wine. Well, I started, but my father had dementia and it was really tough. Your grandpa, the last few years of his life. I have a lot of empathy and sympathy for people who have dementia and their family and the caregivers. It is maybe one of the most tricky things I think to navigate as you get older. And so I was trying to prevent dementia in my own brain so you don't have to take care of a wacko mother. So
don't have to in the future. Yeah.
Okay. I see where you're going with this.
We're just I want to bring some joy, have fun.
Yeah. Well, anyway, back to the float, the parade. One of the things that I literally started crying. So I hurried and figured out a way to watch the parade after Rebecca Lobo texted me. And I just was crying the whole parade to see women take over the Canyon of Champions, to see women celebrated and loved and adored like that, a women's sports team in the biggest city in the world. I was just overcome with emotion and it was so beautiful. And I had a moment. Jonquel Jones is a player that I just admire and respect so much. And I think that she's one of the great players in the WNBA that maybe doesn't get a lot of the attention and media coverage. And, she's even talked about that. Like she had an MVP season and then didn't get the flowers that she deserved. And maybe the endorsement deals and money didn't come like she thought she should get. And there was this moment that she's coming down on this float that says MVP and her arms are in the air and there's confetti and all this stuff flying through the air. She's got the flag from the Bahamas on her shoulders, her home country. And I just started weeping like, look at Jonquel Jones getting all this love. And I was just in my feelings for Jonquel to get and receive that love. So the whole thing was just beautiful. I can't imagine how cool that must have been for you to be there.
Amazing.
That's really cool, sweetie. What a great experience.
It was so cool. Yeah. I can't believe I did it. It's like a distant memory. Like I'm like, it's out of body. Also, they were just, all of our coolers were filled with Don Julio 1942. And that's just, so that was helpful as well.
Okay. Don't make fun of me right now, but I don't actually know what Don Julio is. Oh, tequila.
Yeah.
Oh, so
very
you were
expensive.
doing champagne and tequila or just one or the other?
You're just doing the most. And that's the thing is, if you're on the what'd you call it?
Canyon of Champions.
The Canyon Campion, the champ.
Canyon.
The Canyon of Champions.
Champions.
If you're on the Canyon of Champions and you don't take a second to just drink it all in and drink it all in, I don't know what you're doing.
The double drink it all in. I love it for you, honey, so much. Oh, that's so fun.
And it was amazing.
And I love the friendship that you've developed and the fandom that you've developed. It's so precious. So that's really cool. All right. You referred to something else, that it was a very celebratory time in New York City and that maybe next week is not going to be so fun, because I think you were referring to the presidential election.
Oh, no. Well, next week.
What were you referring to?
I have to go to, I have to get, I'm talking about the election. I don't want to get into it, but yeah, I'm talking about it.
I don't want to get into it, but I do have to ask you this important question. So your ballot, your absentee ballot got sent here, but I just wanted to ask you, so when we get done with this podcast, I'm going straight to FedEx or UPS. So you promise me if I spend, it's going to cost like $70 to overnight deliver this to you, you are going to fill it out and return it immediately.
What day is it? I think you have time. You don't have to overnight it.
That's what I want to avoid, is you thinking you have time and then procrastinating it and not getting it back in.
I'm not
procrastinating.
Saying just do a cheaper option.
Okay.
Yeah.
It has to be back in by election day, it looks like, which is November 5th.
Yeah. No, I get that. So I'll just send it. I just need to get it by, the first is what, on Friday? So like do a lot. I don't know.
Okay. I'll get it to you so you get it by tomorrow or the next day, and then you can.
So you're just going to overnight it. Got it. Okay.
But I want proof that you have put it back in the mail. Can you send me that proof?
Sure. Yeah. Voting is important.
That's kind of where I'm coming from. Is I don't want to nitpick you or nag you, but I do think this is an important election, and I just want to make sure that you have the opportunity to vote. So I do care about you voting.
He's constantly telling us the world is going to end. Oh, no. It's killing me. I hate this election. I hate all of you politicians. I want that to be known and recorded.
Hey. That's a little firm. Maybe I'm annoyed. You don't hate them. You can't hate people you don't know.
Yes, I can. They do it. They run our lives. They don't know us. I can hate them. No, I do have one of my favorite little bits that I've heard recently, or tweets or something I've seen. I wish I could credit the person that did it. It's definitely not an original thought, but it's the thing where it's like the presidency should just be like jury duty, and it should just be a random person like, oh crap, I'm the president now. That just makes so much more sense. All the run up to it just drives me crazy, and the hyperbole and everybody thinking they know better than each other, and it has nothing to. I don't like what it brings out in people, especially the amount of money that is spent on making sure that it does bring that out. Is a big problem I have with it. It's not a lack of caring about the thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of I don't like this picture that is created by all of this nonsense.
Yeah, it's tough because I used to be very politically involved. I worked in the state legislature. I've worked for campaigns. I used to be very politically involved. And as I've gotten older, I've gotten a little more detached from that. But I will say this, I travel all over the country for college football right now. So I'm in all these different markets. And the attack ads, so you'll see one person's ad and then the next person's ad. And just the accusations being launched at people and at each other. I just feel like there has to be a healthier way to get to the bottom of issues of candidate X actually believes in and actually has done XYZ, where their record can speak for itself instead of these attack ads. So anyway, I don't want to get into it either because I think politics are not why people tune into this show. But
no.
So really what I wanted to talk to you about today, because it is Halloween week.
I do. Yeah, I have stuff for I have Halloween.
And I was thinking back on some really fond Halloween memories, but I also had some very funny memories of epic Halloween fails. And so I wanted to ask you, what was your favorite Halloween costume you ever wore? And which was the one you hated the most? And what role did your mother have in one or the other?
Well, that takes care of one of my hat questions, my chaos theory questions. What was your worst costume? Okay, this is tough. I hate to say it, Mom, you were not involved in either.
That's good though. If I wasn't involved in the worst costume.
I don't know. Well, you were involved in. You were okay. Yes. Okay. There's just so many just weird, random costume things I've done in my life, and some of it has nothing to do with Halloween. It's just life. Okay. One of my favorite costumes, and it was one of my favorites, and it was such a disappointing Halloween because I have a really good friend, shout out Keanu, and we dressed. Actually, I'm gonna have Keanu send us the picture of it, and I'm gonna send it to Robbie. We dressed up as Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's a niche-ish costume, but like I see celebrities doing all these niche costumes, so I was like, dude, we're both like kind of light skinned, but kind of like similar looking, and like the whole movie, like he's his stunt man, and I was like, oh, this is perfect. Like, let's do that. And so we do the costumes, we do them well, and we proceed to not only not get recognized by anybody at the costume parties that we went to, and we got like we were asking people on the street if they recognized who we were. We did the pose from the movie, everything. We actually walked past a production that was filming on the night of the party, and we grabbed a couple of the PAs, people who were working in film, and we asked
and
them,
they didn't know either,
and they didn't know who we were. But I was like, that was such a clever costume that was just wasted on the world.
I always think costumes are not great if you have to explain it laboriously. Like if people don't get the costume, maybe it wasn't really that great.
And the worst, I think the most egregious part, and I'm gonna stock it up to just small imagination. Was so one of my guy, I was Leo. He's wearing a turtleneck and a chain.
Right.
And then a jacket. It is a like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like kind of like a yellowish, orangish turtleneck and a chain, and then like a brownish jacket. Mine wasn't exactly brown, but whatever. And so I that's what I'm wearing is an orangish turtleneck, a chain, and a brown jacket. And every person that saw me was like, The Rock. Oh, The Rock.
Oh, because you do look like The Rock a little bit.
But famously, he's wearing a black turtleneck.
With the chain. That's his iconic picture. And a fanny pack.
And blue jeans. I'm not wearing any of that. I'm not wearing anything he's wearing other than a turtleneck and a chain, but they're different colors.
Honey, I can understand your frustration, but I can also understand why people might think you're The Rock instead of Brad Pitt. I'm
obviously not The Rock from the famous photo because I'm wearing different like, are they just like, oh, he's dressed as he just is The Rock?
Yeah.
The Rock.
I think this costume explanation has already gone on too long, so maybe it wasn't the best costume.
Okay. And then another one, the one that is related to you that I would say was the worst for other people, not for me, I had a great time, but for other people, was the Avatar costume. You bought us Avatar costumes.
Matching.
matching Avatar costumes. We never wore them at the same time, but I wore that
Skin tight blue tiger with
with
tails.
a tail Avatar. It was Avatar. I wore that
A
probably
lot.
15, 20 times.
So I was gonna say, I felt like we got a lot of use out of that costume.
I wore that a lot, and so I would say that's my worst. Not for my experience, but for
For
the
other
people that had
people's.
to see it for months and months after.
Oh my gosh. I dressed up. So I wore mine in state college. We had a college football bowling party because we're all on the road for Halloween. And
Yeah,
I wore mine to the bowling party, and it was very tight, little figure revealing. I wish I had pictures. I don't know if I have any pictures of that costume. You'll have to look and see if you do, but
I don't know. My
maybe
I
better
like
if no one ever sees that. But I have an epic fail as a mother because I think you're too young to even remember this because I think you were maybe 3 or 4 years old.
I
But
think you sent me
as
the picture of this. Yeah,
as we've established, I was a huge Chicago Bulls fan because your name is McKylin Jordan, named after Michael Jordan.
yeah.
And I, this is at the height of Dennis Rodman with the Bulls, and he's wacky and he's got his hair colored pink or red, and he wears these crazy hats. And so I colored your hair. I think I used spray in color. I got a nude body color turtleneck and I drew tattoos on it. So it looked like you had all these tattoos. And then I did the Bulls jersey. No one got it. No one understood why a 3-year-old was Dennis Rodman. And so I think that was probably my epic mother fail for a costume.
Yeah.
Maybe don't draw tattoos on your 3-year-old. I mean, it was
Yeah, you
not on
weren't.
your
It wasn't
skin.
on me, so I think that's good.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that one wasn't great. But my proudest costume for you was Hercules. I hand sewed a Hercules body costume and an outfit, and you wore that daily for years. For years.
Well, yeah, I liked Hercules. Hercules was the man. I was a child.
Yes. And I hand sewed that. So I was proud of the Hercules. Do
So
you
the
remember the
Hercules,
Hercules costume?
that's one of the better ones.
Okay, good. I'm glad that you have that memory because sometimes childhood, you like, I remember this part and you're like, oh, I don't really remember that trip or I don't remember that experience, but you remember Hercules. That makes
I
me
remember
happy.
that one. And then I remember Harry Potter just had a hold on costumes for a while. I don't, this is a pattern that I have. I will hit a costume bedrock where I'll just repeat a costume
Over
for
and
like
over and
a
over.
couple of years. Not even like for the Harry Potter ones, it was just I was obsessed with Harry Potter. But then I kind of did The Rock. I think I've done The Rock 3 years in a row because I don't have to think about it and I already have all the stuff.
And again, you kind of look like The Rock. So I feel
And I'm
like that one works
similar
very well.
color and I have a jawline similar to yes. Okay. I don't even have a I don't even look I don't look like The Rock at all.
My other favorite costume that we did was a more recent one. And I made you, and I remember at the time you not being happy about this, but in retrospect, I think it was really funny. Is we dressed up as the iconic duo, Megan Rapinoe and Sue Bird, and made you get the pink hair and everything. How did you
Yeah.
feel about that costume?
I'd wear it to work because it was the only costume I had. We give people too much credit because we think that they will overlook certain attributes, such as the fact that I'm tall and brown. So when I was working at Equinox and I was literally standing in like a walkway trying to get new customers in the costume, and I'll give you just guess how many people recognized.
0. But you
Yeah,
had the Rapinoe jersey on with the name Rapinoe on it.
doesn't matter. They saw me
They
and
didn't
they're
see
like, "What are
you
you
as Megan
talking?"
Rapinoe.
No, my hair was purple. Yeah,
Yeah, I felt like I was a pretty cute Sue Bird. I'm not gonna lie. I felt like I nailed Sue.
yours worked. I think we didn't
I
even
didn't nail Sue. I
do
feel
it.
like my
I think we
costume resembled Sue very well.
nice. We I think we just wore the costume. We just took pictures of the costume and then called it a day.
Because you had to go to work, I think.
No, because this is after work.
Oh,
My
was
I
this after you'd been in the Rapinoe costume all day? That's hysterical.
yeah yeah
Well,
yeah.
I've missed Halloween the last 2 years because I've literally been so busy. I all of a sudden we were somewhere this weekend and like Halloween's not for a few more days, but
Yeah,
people do
people
it the
did it this
weekend
weekend.
before, and I'm like,
Okay,
this
I
is
want
too
to.
early. I'm not
Who
prepared.
chooses? we're all connected over the internet. Somebody say something. Somebody just give out like, hey, we're doing it this weekend. Because I was so ready, and Doc is out of town. So I was like, okay, so she's out of town for Halloween weekend. I'm working anyway, so who cares? Next weekend, I'm off Friday evening. That's the day after Halloween. It's the evening, the after Halloween. Obviously, this is be third, like Friday night will be the time. Nothing, not a single nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, I think everybody did it before. So anyway, 2 straight years, I've completely missed it. Haven't dressed up, haven't bought candy, haven't decorated. I sometimes I feel sad because I used to be so fun. Like I would decorate the house. We would do a spook alley. We would carve pumpkins, paint pumpkins, all these kinds of things. And now like I don't even know Halloween's past.
Yeah. It's also when you don't have young kids around you, you don't really think about it. And then I think
Right.
I'm like, you go through kind of waves. Like I was definitely at an age for a little bit there where I would like we all went and did something on Halloween. So like the past 3 or 4 Halloweens, I want to say we went out like there was some party or something, but this year I I mean maybe it's my fault as well. Ooh, spin out. You've wasn't invited to a single Halloween party. That might be my fault.
Oh, this seems like another episode. Well, anyway, I think it's super fun. I've always loved dressing up. We've always kind of tried, like when you were a kid, from the time you were about 2 years old, 3 years old, until you were 14, I hosted a huge Halloween party at our house every year.
Yep.
And I distinctly remember the last year, I think you were in 8th grade, and your friends were such jerks. Do you remember this Halloween party? Like there was all kinds of incidents, problems at the Halloween party. And I just remember thinking, okay, junior high school kids are awful, and I am never doing the Halloween party again. So I quit.
What happened? I don't remember.
We'll have to talk about it off because I don't. I'll have to say their names, and I don't want to say their names, but you'll remember
Just
when I
don't.
say it.
Just cover your mouth and then Robbie bleep it out. Let's say that. Yeah. Just yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll talk about it later. But anyway, so we've loved Halloween. We're definitely costume, dress up, have fun people for sure. I remember one year, me, you, and Maria Taylor, we tried to go to the
Halloween
Greenwich
parade.
Village Halloween parade, and we kind of hit part of it.
We have
That's
to-
always been a goal of mine, is to like really dress up and go and be in that Halloween parade because I think it's kind of iconic.
I know now for sure. Unless I'm in a parade on a float, I don't really want to go to a parade. It's.
Now you're just spoiled. Now
been
you've been in
spoiled.
the Liberty Parade, you're spoiled forever.
Well, I mean, what standing in line to see people? I've been the people that you see. I'm not waiting anymore. I'm not doing it. I'm not. You don't take steps backwards. You have to go forward.
Unless you're on a float, you're out.
Exactly. I'm
Noted.
done.
Noted.
What's the invite? Am I on a float? Not on a float? Go have fun. This is why I'm not invited to any parties.
We've tried to go to the Thanksgiving parade a couple of years in New York with the big inflatable balloons. We've gone and seen the balloons where they stage them on the Upper West Side. That was pretty cool. We actually lived up there by that.
Yeah.
That's a cool parade because you can see those big balloons and you don't have to stand out there the whole time. You kind of go see it.
Well, we'll have a Thanksgiving episode. We'll talk about it more.
We'll get into that a little more.
Well, okay. So what do we? I mean, we're closing in. So do you have any like spooky movie recommend? Yeah, actually, that would be my new. Never mind. Well, let's do it now. I was gonna say
Chaos Theory. Is that your new Chaos Theory?
Say that for Chaos Theory, but then I said it out loud. So
you said it out loud. That's okay. Ooh, okay. So one of my, full disclosure, I do not like scary movies, like where you're startled and frightened like that. I don't like those. I'm not going to talk about this, but just FYI, I've been the victim of a violent crime before. And so I get scared by stuff like that because stuff like that's happened to me. So for another podcast, but I like suspenseful movies. So one of my all-time favorite suspenseful movies is, and I don't know the name of it, but you'll know the name of it, with Michelle Pfeiffer and Harrison Ford.
What Lies Beneath.
What Lies Beneath is probably one of my all-time favorite movies because it's just scary enough.
Good old
I
Robert
love that
Zemeckis.
one. Yeah.
That's a good one. I like that one. I'm trying to think what I've watched so many this month. So many. Just so many. It's gotten a little ridiculous. Last night, I think I watched 7
7 scary movies?
because Mondays are kind of like my just I don't really have to do anything, and so it's kind of like it's like a Sunday kind of,
Mm-hmm.
and so I just binged scary movies, and it was great. They were good. I watched
Oof.
what did I watch? I watched the Venoms. Those are fun. I watched something called Sting. Another thing called Demon Knight. I watched this movie called Pulse. Kristen Bell. It was bad. I don't recommend any of those. I do. I if I for the spooky season now, I would recommend Sting was good.
What is
If
it?
people
Who is
like
it?
it's a spider.
Sting
Yes.
is a spider?
Yeah, and this girl finds a spider in her house, and then it grows to be like too big, and it's smart, and it starts eating people in the apartment.
Huh.
It's
That
fun. It was a
sounds
good time.
interesting. Okay.
No, I
I
enjoyed it.
do like the fun spooky movies like oh, what was the Bette Midler, not
Hocus
Sarah
Pocus.
Jessica,
Check
Hocus Pocus.
Hocus Pocus.
Love Hocus Pocus.
Great one.
Great one.
Did you see the second one?
No, is it good? I've heard it's good.
It's not for me, but it's good. You'd probably like
I'll
it.
like it probably.
Yeah,
Yeah. I like happy scary movies. Like it's a little
yeah,
Halloweenish, a little magical with cute outfits. That's
yeah,
perfect.
yeah. No, I get that. If there's anyone brave out here, this is not the audience for this, but if anybody's brave and watches malignant, sound off in the comments because that I love that movie. You will hate it. It is great. We were just watching it right before this, so I was doing some busy work, and it is top. Oh, so so
Mm.
good.
Okay, so the other thing I wanted to ask you about, since we're doing a Halloween version, is do you have a funny or a traumatic trick-or-treating story?
You're just
So,
ruining all of my.
oh, was that one of your chaos theories too?
Yep.
Okay. Beating you to the punch.
Maybe we should just go to chaos there. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe.
let's do it. Go to chaos theory. Okay.
Okay. Well, I have one now.
So, what was your trick or treat story? I had one from when I was a little kid. So, I once got my bag of candy stolen. Like some older kids ambushed us and took our bags of candy. That
Hmm.
was pretty traumatic. And then I had one where we were running through the yard. Obviously it's dark. And this is back in the day when we used to go for hours trick or treating unsupervised. Apparently, we
Yeah.
thought the neighborhoods were safe. And I
Yeah.
remember running through a yard, and you know how like people will put their trees will have these like strings or ropes attached to the trees that go out and peg into the grass so the tree stays stable.
Yeah.
I ran full speed, tightrope my kneecaps, face plant, like really got hurt
Nice.
on some trees in somebody's yard in Halloween. Okay, what was yours?
Um, one of them definitely is the like there was back in the old days. You could call your friends and say we're gonna meet here to start trick or treating, but none of us had cell phones because we were like 10 and 11. And so you would kind of have to just try to triangulate and find each other. And I remember there was one Halloween where I think I missed something. And so I did a whole neighborhood just alone because I couldn't find my friends. And then finally, I just went to one of their houses and they were just there. And I was like, "Oh, hey guys." And they're like, "Oh, we couldn't find you. So we just kept going." And you couldn't really do any, you can't be mad at them because it's not like,
Just
why
like,
did
did we
when
find
did
you or not?
yeah, we just know
Yeah.
we missed it. So yeah, that one was one of the worst ones because you're just kind of sad alone, just like knocking on doors. It's like,
Hi,
hey,
here I am. I
yeah,
remember so you'd go out trick or treating, you'd be gone, and I'd be at home, and the kids would come to the door. You had the big bowl of candy or the jug of candy or whatever. And I remember being, this is so bad to admit this. I remember being critical of kids' costumes, and like if they hadn't tried hard enough, like you'd get some teenage kids or some kids that weren't really even in costume, and I'd be like, okay, you don't get candy because you didn't even try. Like these little kids, they
yeah,
look adorable and they've really tried. If you didn't even draw on cat whiskers or just fake it. I remember
yeah,
being a little bit hard on kids, like, you got to earn this candy. which
Yeah.
seems a little Grinchish. What's the Halloween version of the Grinch?
Yeah. Have a little pride. I
Which,
think,
which
we talk
had to
about,
be,
we give advice to parents, whatever. I think as a parent, if you see your 15 and up child going off to go trick or treating, you should say something. Like, I don't, you need to just be a better parent, because
oh,
that's,
can you age out? Are you saying
I
you
think
age out of
you,
trick or treating?
I think you age, unless you're taking kids with you. If you're 16 or 17, if you can drive from house to house, I think that's a wrap. Go get your own candy, have a little
Okay,
party, still do
gotcha.
your thing, but trick or treating is for the chitlins, it's for the kids.
Okay.
Like at
It's so
16,
funny. I was just
your
going to
house.
recommend, I was just going to say, so maybe next time we see each other, since I missed Halloween and you kind of missed Halloween this year, that we could just have our own Halloween, even if it's in a couple of weeks or maybe in November.
You know
Because
what? Well,
I want to keep the spirit of fun alive. Like, I'm always one of those people that's like, I never want to be aged out or be too adult to do fun stuff. So I
I don't know about
guess
too adult, but
we'll
we'll
find
find
our
something.
time.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. All right.
yeah. All right.
All right. Okay. So this is my chaos theory, and I have a special reason for why I want this.
Okay, what do we got?
Read it out loud.
Do we teach boys to be nice? Everybody's been mean to boys lately, so that's bull.
So I saw this necklace on the internet, and so I'm gonna show it to you. I can't see if you can see this. Do you see it? Do you see any letters?
No, your fingers are all over it. How am I supposed to read it?
Do you see any letters?
It's just some sort of obelisk.
You don't see any letters?
No, I've said no 3 times. I don't know.
Well, there's 4 sides. Oh, maybe I found the side.
Yeah, this
Can't
is,
see it?
what are we doing?
Okay. It says somewhere on here where apparently I can't see it. Oh, how about now? How about now?
Ah,
What does it say?
I can't read that.
You can't read it? Okay. Anyway, it says be kind,
Oh, I can't. Yeah, no, there's
be
no way.
kind. And then this little thing pulls out of it.
Okay, it says rewind.
And it says of a bitch. So you know how we're always teaching little girls and women, I feel like this as a woman, to be nice and to be gentle and to be well behaved. And so anyway, this necklace says be kind of a bitch, of a bitch. So I thought it was really kind of fun of like, why do we always have to teach little girls and women that we're supposed to be nice?
Teach
Do
everybody
they
to be nice.
teach boys?
This is not a gender thing.
But
No.
I think we do. I do think we do this to kids. Do you remember growing up that everyone was like, oh, you need to be kind?
No,
And
no.
that's my point.
I was out in the woods, fending for myself, fighting off
Right.
bullies
We
with a
teach
scooter.
boys to be tough and to stand up for yourself and to
Because
be
boys are mean to each other. We sometimes got taught be nice, like after a fight, be nice to each other and like don't bully. But I don't know. Part of this seems reductive. I think that all children should be taught to be nice. Just in general.
that's true. And I do value being kind. I think it's a great life skill and it's something that I take very seriously. And I do think I'm a very kind person.
Yeah.
But I kind of like also having a little backbone and being like, I'm not just going to be kind and let you walk all over me.
Maybe we can have, so women could adopt the boys' version of what bitch means, which is just, it's weak, right? So instead of it being, yeah, it's like, don't be a bitch.
Oh boy, that's what boys say to each other.
That's what boys say
They
to
call
each
you
other.
a little B word.
You said it 5 seconds ago.
I know, it sounds worse when you say it for some reason.
Well, either way.
Anyway.
No, how about this? Nobody be a bitch to anybody.
Yeah, but there are times in your life, and maybe this is where it's coming from, is so when you stand up for yourself and when you try to have boundaries and be strong and be firm,
I'm an asshole.
Sometimes men call you the B word. And that really bothers me because men never get called that word. Like when you're standing up and you're being assertive and you're, standing up for yourself, no one ever calls you a bitch. Ever.
No, I call you an asshole.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I mean, we've had this talk before, and there's like tons of other misogyny that goes into it that I think is very important, and I think it's also causes that thing, the bitchiness, whatever, that can cause issues with that. There's levels and levels and levels of misogyny to it, but I do think that sometimes some people, when they think they're being assertive, they're being mean, and I think that's everybody. So
So
like
it's not just the fact that you're being assertive, it's actually how you're doing it, like tone in
your
your voice, how you're
yeah,
treating people, how you
your
actually go
assertion
about it.
is rude. The way you assert yourself is rude. You are being a bitch, asshole, whatever word you want to use to call it, and whatever gender you need to use that word in. I don't care. But your assertion is being a dick. So maybe,
Assertion. Did you say
yeah.
that on purpose? That was funny. Good
But
job.
maybe if you had a little bit more tact and a better way to talk to people, your assertiveness could also be kind
And be positive and be
and
seen
be
as leadership and be complimentary. Okay.
correct.
I like it. Very good discussion. I really
I,
enjoy that.
yeah,
Okay. I love you so much. I just looked at
me
the
too.
clock. We've been going
You
too
gotta go.
long and I have
Oh,
to go. We're hosting a big event for young girls to keep them involved in sports for the Utah Jazz. Her
they
time
should
to play. So
yeah,
headed to that special event right now. And then anyway, love you. Happy
go
Halloween. We're both
go
missing it.
inspire those ladies. Yeah,
I'll go inspire those ladies. And you keep watching those scary movies. You do you. You do you.
that's exactly literally the second I'm off this call, I'm going to go back to writing and watching a scary movie. I'm not writing a scary movie, but watching because I love them. Scary movies
All
are the
right.
best. They're the most fun movies. All right, I love you,
Happy
Mom.
Halloween. Love you, darling.
Happy
Thanks for
Halloween.
calling. Bye.